about preparing for life beyond active sport. A little bit of a continuation from what we discussed last week. There's going to be bits of or aspects of this conversation that will relate to that. Our guest this evening is Mariam Nakamanya, the manager at, how do they pronounce that, Andrew? What?
Yeah, man. Why are you asking Andrew? She's right.
It's
certified.
It's poor.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's poor.
It's a French word.
French word for hope.
Clive, hold it. I'm listening to Mariam. Yes, please.
It's a French word for hope.
Okay, okay, fantastic. But most importantly, also a clinical psychologist. Good to have you, Mariam.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Before we get into the discussion, I'll let Andrew introduce the entire project as a whole, then we get into the discussion. So, Andrew?
Okay. Very fast, quick. We all know we've been running the Legends Marathon for the last 2 years. This is the 3rd year. But there's something bigger than just the Legends Marathon. So we started something to prepare athletes before they transition into the other life post-active sport. And that was informed by the stories, several stories over the years that have come where our athletes represent us at the very top level. And because the system never prepared them for the life after, so when that 10-year bubble ends, where they have all the love, they go into this shock of a place that is dark, that is unknown, where we are welcoming the young ones, and for them, kinda forgetting them. But because the system wasn't prepared for them beyond that, then that's when we get stories of, you know, our legends begging for 10K. You run away from them when you meet them at the game. Might be falling prey to drugs, alcohol abuse, and perhaps they don't even have the skills to face life beyond the sport. So you end your sport, and suddenly the only skill you had was that sport. And then you are ending it in your 30s. That's when we are actually starting to live, but you're not ready to live. So we started Impact Sports, limited by company, and then it has 3 pillars. The first pillar is beyond the finish, and that's where we have everything to do with financial literacy, entrepreneurship, mentorship, mental health, name it, to equip the athletes so that once you take the sport away, they are still human beings who matter to society. Then the other pillar is the Legends Marathon, the only marathon where athletes from all walks of life, rugby, basketball, cricket, tennis, name it, come together, one, to network so that you don't go and suffer alone. Now come meet people, and then you get to know each other, but also we amplify the message of, are we already here on the set beyond our paycheck? So the message is coming through sport, but it resonates with all of us. So that's the Legends Marathon, and we are heading into the 3rd edition. Then the other pillar is a storytelling platform where we ensure athletes' stories are shared so they don't die with them. So in short, we invited Mariam because she's a volleyball legend. She played the game, and not only played the game, she stayed in school, that's dual career, and developed skills that are serving her today. If she just focused on the game alone, perhaps she wouldn't be here. So she is the right candidate to discuss this with us.
Okay, fantastic. You've set the pace for us. So let's get into it, Mariam. But the very first question offhand is, how is life now? Compared to what Andrew hinted on, for example, when you're playing, you know, the camera's on you, and most times when you return, get into what you studied, you know, it's a bit more quiet. So how is life now?
Mine is actually not quiet.
Okay.
I was telling Andrew when he invited me here that please note I have not retired. I will announce when I do.
Yeah.
For me, I believe that retirement should be gradual.
Yeah.
And this comes with preparation. It should be embedded in the athlete preparation from day one.
Yeah.
You don't prepare for retirement.
6 weeks to go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can't wait for that final whistle. It has to have started from the beginning. So as we start as athletes, for many athletes right now, sport is commercial, which wasn't the same for us. You find athletes who've been through school because of sport. Their parents have not incurred a cost. Now they're getting, luckily those who stay in school are getting jobs because of sport. So those ones are not the problem. The problem is with those athletes that dropped out of school because they focused on sports.
Only.
And once that sport is taken away, they lose their identity. It's an identity crisis because it's something that it's not just what they do, it's who they are. What defines them is that sport. So the only way to help them is to start preparing them from day one. Without sport, what do you do? Some athletes have had long-term injuries, a year out of the sport. What happens? What do you do? How do they manage that? What are the coaches doing about it? What are the administrators doing about it? And I think it's, Andrew's initiative is a good one, but we need to go back to the drawing board. As managers in sports, even federations, I think, can do this. They need to emphasize athletes staying in school. If school is not working, the normal school, there are TVET institutions now. You need to take somebody through. I think my club, we've taken about 2 athletes. They're not playing anymore, but we took them through YMCA for courses where there were alternatives. Hairdressing, catering, and I really think that's the way to go. Otherwise, for athletes, I want to tell you, when I'm not playing, I keep telling people my feel-good hormone is stimulated by volleyball. Each time I am going through something, I will go for, even if it's just practice, 2 hours are enough, and I'm already resetting my brain for whatever I want to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know you've spoken about, the cases where athletes tend to, forget about school and focus on the sport. And it's so common. Yeah. It's so common. What causes that? Is it a case of they fail to balance? Is it a case of they're not interested? What causes a lot of that?
So, because most of these athletes now have started earning from sport at an earlier age. I think paying tuition and maybe giving a bit of pocket money is okay. Giving these young athletes a salary is actually a problem. They feel like they've gotten there because that's all we are looking for. Everybody is looking to make a living. But what if you take away that sport? What happens to that athlete? So that's why I insist administrators should emphasize. I don't agree with sports administrators who take athletes in candidate classes. It doesn't matter what level they're going to play at. I don't think it's worth it.
What do you mean by that?
Somebody is in S4, they're supposed to sit for their exams. I really think it should be something that federations should consider. Because you don't take away an athlete so that they do not sit their exam.
Just take it back, if you remember, there was a time where we should have been the under 17 or something.
Yes. Yes.
And the team had S4 candidates,
Mm.
and they actually
Missed
that.
that. Yeah.
And they actually missed sitting for their exams. But also probably, just to supplement on what Mariam is saying, our system does not have what you want to say, the right channels, which will probably force an athlete to balance both. If somebody is good at the sport they're doing, the system will not force this person to also try being in class or balance books and stuff like that. Sometimes it is a personal initiative or initiative of the games master and
the
stuff
parents.
like that. Or sometimes the parents. But remember, most of these athletes, not all of them, but some of them won't have that person, that guardian angel to make sure that they follow them to the letter, so that they balance both. So in the end, you find that some are benefiting from the education, and others are not, because they are finding it very hard to balance both. And probably the reason why they find themselves in a situation that they find themselves in when they eventually walk away from that arena.
Okay, but also I know you hinted on the fact that now, because you went to school and still play volleyball or train when you feel like you need something to boost you up. How smooth has that been for you to transition from active? I don't know if that's the right word, because she's not retired.
She's a player manager now. She has refused.
She has refused, yes. But how has the transition been?
So mine was hard, but like I said, I started early.
Yeah.
I played my top flight volleyball when I had even started a family. And that time, I was not even a psychologist. Psychologist, I am freelance. I choose when to work, when not to work, where to work. I was a banker then. So it's even harder. I used to leave the bank at 7. I knew I needed to give my sport 1 hour. 1 hour. So sometimes I left the bank 8 o'clock, but I would be in for 1 hour. I know 8 to 9, and then I would go home. It takes a lot of commitment, but it also took a lot of training. My late coach, Osman Lukwago, it was about balance. There were no two ways. If you didn't perform well in a particular term, the next time you'd not step on that court. And that is the worst thing you'd ever do to an athlete. He would say, next time, please stay away. When your grades go up, then you come back to the court. That is the worst thing that would ever happen to you. So we all pushed, but also we pushed as a team. Because we had the sport at heart. I really think commercialization of sport has had a lot of issues. It's the major issue that is causing athletes to drop out of school.
And I think that's in our system, probably, because when you go to, say, the US, you know that for you to stay in a sport, you've got to actually perform in class. But when you go to maybe the professional level, what can Uganda do when you look at the fact that the years you should be playing maybe at your best are pretty much the same years you should be doing school? But at least you see that internationally, you see people who finish their career, and maybe towards the end, they start doing coaching badges, go to university, and they do that after. Do you think, as a country, there's something that can be done to ensure that you get the best out of the players, but towards maybe the end of their playing career, you channel them into maybe a professional direction or something like that?
Yes. So, as a country, of course, it's a problem. In the recent past 1 year or so, I have been working with KCCA Women, the women's team. And that's one of the things we are working on. I don't agree with practice. Morning, you're on court the entire morning, and then you're there at 2 again. And for me, that has been my problem. So I have been working with these ladies. What can we do about it? What can you do? Are you looking? If you're looking, where are you looking? What's your potential? Because I realize not many athletes actually want to get into coaching or even refereeing. Because if at least would help them transition into such careers, I think it would be good. But there are not many. For example, when I did the level 1, we were not many ladies. Level 2, the president cried out, the ladies, I'm actually going to pay for the ladies. They were not there. I think we were only 2 ladies from Uganda. So people are not looking at it as, because anyway, in Uganda, it doesn't really pay. Okay, I don't know what it's like in other sports, but in volleyball,
it's the same case.
I have been there. I have been a coach before for the under 20, for the seniors, 2023, and no, you go there and give a service, but it's okay for me because even as a player, I was giving a service. However, for other people, they want to look at it as, a source of income, which is right, but probably the system is not yet set to get to that level.
And that cuts across, not only in volleyball.
Yes.
And talking of the ladies, I think it's also a bigger challenge that you want to support, but it's tough to get the ladies.
Yes.
I'll tell you, I've experienced it, where you have something you want to do, and you're literally scouting for ladies, and you don't get them. Or when you get them, they're unavailable because of schedule. So perhaps, I don't know how we can play that, because I'm saying this out of experience, both from interviews, but also having them there. We want to promote, the equality, to make sure that ladies move along. So I don't think it's limited to Uganda, but it's a real problem.
So there's the people that are coming up to push the ladies.
Yeah.
Many times, because also sport in Uganda has been a little political, and people want to stay in the background. Yeah, you'd rather do something else than get into the limelight for something you're not even going to benefit so much from, especially if you're not playing anymore. If you're playing, you hang in there. You hold on to it because you love the sport. But if you're not, sometimes it's not really worth it.
Yeah.
But it's something, I went into psychology because I wanted to approach sport from a different angle. I think maybe if we embed the psychological aspect of training right from the beginning. When we are training on court, then we have psychological sessions, because if it's psychology, then it's going to cut across the individual's life. It's not just going to be sport.
True.
It's going to be, we want people who can come up and speak for us. Right now, there are not very many who will come out and speak. So we want people who can come out and speak. We want people who can be the voice of others that are not yet able to speak. And I think it's hard for some of the people that I'm doing it for. It's still pro bono, but I need to push it.
Yeah.
We need to start somewhere.
Yeah.
When others see it, then they'll keep getting on board slowly. Yeah.
And talking of starting somewhere, I'm one of the reasons I pushed for what I'm pushing was actually, like, as a journalist, you report about something.
Yeah.
Year 1, year 2, year 3, then you get tired of reporting about it. Then you are not government, you don't have the resources.
Yes.
So you're, okay, so I've written about you struggling, then so what? So that's where I applaud you, and also I think as people here, as journalists and everyone else, who is not government but they are trying to do something, we need to take it as serious. So no one perhaps, that was your personal initiative, to do something else. But the clubs you're talking of, one, the clubs themselves that we are perhaps apportioning blame, maybe the people in charge themselves don't know. The people themselves can't push. They are not equipped enough to push for that. So then that's why we need, and here I'm coming off as selfish, we need to push and support these initiatives. Because, trust me, government at Yambe will not work. Even when they try, it's structured but doesn't move. There are some initiatives government has taken. The reward system of 5 million gold, I don't know what. But there's something to do with the best pension you can give athletes is to empower them so that they are self-sustaining after. And that's what we are trying to do with Impact Sport. I was speaking to Beatrice I called the other day, going through these whole legends and all. And she said something which I found interesting. She said, as federations, we can't do all these things, Andrew.
True.
So when we get people like you, then you carry that brick. Then we work together and support. Because the truth is we can't do it all. We are developing grassroots and all. So people like you now, when you come in, that's when we push together. So there might be an inkling of this could be done, but there's no one to push it. So that's why we need to pull the collective effort to push it together.
And on that note, Andrew, I'm going to throw a question to you and Maria, because Maria, now that you're into the psychology bit of it and everything, what's the reception been like?
So in the beginning, there was a bit of resistance, but when I did my research at master's level, I was very intentional. I did it with FUFA. So I got authorization to visit not the clubs around, but to try and cut across the students, the clubs that are institutionalized, then and it's actually interesting. The administrators were resisting a bit.
Yes.
When I got to the players, it was simply taking them through a questionnaire. We answered the questionnaire together. And everybody came running after me.
Yeah.
Like the things they want to say that they cannot say. And everything was in that questionnaire. So I had people running after me. If you could only do this, our coach, maybe you can. I was like, okay. However, like I said, it is political. So when you go and give questionnaires to a group of players, and you have 10, 11 players following you, then it is suspicious. Be sure you will not be able to access that club again.
Yeah, true.
And that is how it's working. So from up, there's some resistance. That's why I want to disagree with Andrew. These administrators know these things. And they know that if you just alter the mindset of the players a little bit,
Doom.
They're in trouble.
yes. So they're really not giving it a good reception. There are some that really, you know, were very receptive. I was beaten. Their clubs I really pushed to get into. And before that, they kept pushing me away. We already have people doing research. And I kept going around. And when I got there, oh my God, the person wanted me to go back. And I said, no, not now. When I'm ready, I will let you know. That person has kept following me up. And we are yet to sit down and agree on, you know, because especially the ladies' clubs. And initially I thought maybe the ladies, when I got to the men, it was, for me, it was heartbreaking. That guy is out there, the coach is pushing, and oh my God. There's a club I went to first thing in the morning. I was there at 7 a.m. before they started their training session. And some people could not continue training.
Why?
These are men. When we went through the questionnaire, answered questions, they followed me. And they told the coach, no, I was there, I was meant to be there for 1 hour. I was there for 3 hours. So that shows you that the need is there.
Yeah, true.
People cannot speak out.
Yeah.
But also, I think they don't know who to speak to. Because when you speak to some of these, the guys who are really close to the players, they keep telling you, but I don't know how we'll approach our boss and tell them that. So who is the right person? Who are we targeting? That is why I'm for the athletes.
Yeah, that's why I was also telling you, the people in charge, if they don't know, then they're insecure.
Yes.
Yeah,
And if they are not insecure, they actually do not know.
Yeah, but also, Andrew, just to supplement on what you're saying and what Mariam is saying, just take it back home, our homes,
Yeah.
how people are brought up in homes. People are brought up in homes with
elders.
intimidation. You're not allowed to speak out. If you're told to do something, it is an order. There's no negotiation between you and your parents. Now, that is how you're brought up at home. You go to school, it is the same case. Primary school, you go to secondary school, it's the same case. By the time you get into university, the mind is already set that way. Now, when you come to this level, in this case, sports, you have these institutions that are doing so many wrong things to frustrate you, the athlete, for their own benefit. But because you already have that seed planted from home, you think it's the order of the day. So if you have people like Mariam who come to you, and at first you're timid, you don't want to speak out, but then you eventually be like, why shouldn't I? You have somebody who is willing to listen to you, hear you out, advise you, guide you, and stuff like that. So when you have somebody empowered that way, it is not good for the administrators. And probably that is what it is one of the causes that in the later stages of their careers, like you said, they tend to walk away and get into that dark corner. Because even today, there are so many great people you want to meet and talk to, but their lifestyle, their behavior, they are timid, they want to keep to themselves, they don't want to talk. There are times I walk into Logogo and they tell you, that guy was a legend or stuff like that. You're so excited to meet this guy. You never saw him play, but you've heard so many things about him. And you try to engage this person, and they are not really forthcoming. Because even in the later stages of their lives, that bit of how they were brought up through home, school, the clubs they played to, they believe life should be the way it was in their youth. Yet actually they are at the stage in their careers where they should be celebrated and stuff like that. But they're not celebrated enough because of how they have been treated throughout their life.
Yeah, and it takes me back to Andrew. Like I'd said, I intended to ask this question to Mariam and you.
Yes.
Mariam has responded regarding the kind of reception she's received. How has it been on your side?
Very tough. One, for me, I set up to win over the first stakeholder, and that's the athlete. athletes have been exploited in this country. They suspect everyone. So I had to explain myself, even tell them the company is registered, not as a shareholding company. And these are the things I want to do, and this is because I followed you. So I want us to play a role together because no one is coming to save us as a sport. So how about we start now with the current crop, then you who is transitioning, we see how to support you in terms of skills development. And that's how all athletes, a good number, have embraced. First time I had calls from Kapchorwa, they were calling to ask for prize money. Whenever anyone called me, I would explain to them the concept, and they'll be like, we shall come for free. So I had to first win over the athlete, because with the athlete, then other people who follow them will listen. First, then I wrote, first edition, I wrote to one of the biggest clubs in the, actually, all the biggest clubs in this country. I wrote to them.
By clubs, you mean UPL?
Football clubs. The only response I got was from Bull FC, who bought 10 tickets. The rest didn't even bother to respond. And you've explained in the letter. So I had to move from institutions to individual players. Then I went to the retired ones, those listened. The rugby guys have been great. Mariam, first time I met her, the testimony of Naomi Kayondo, great. So these guys understand. And then they're like, we wish this was done earlier. So second edition, but getting into the third edition, I have to say it's been great because there are now tangibles attached to it. Because the promise was to impact society through sport by empowering athletes and the community, active, current, retired, so they prepare for post-life with dignity. And this was around the time where we lost several people. Chamba Day, we had lost, of course, I'm forgetting, Mugua, Jimmy, around that time, and this is out of depression, alcohol, or because no one cared around that time. So as we get into, as you're seeing those images moving, last year in December, a Stanbic Business Incubator listened to us and agreed to give us a starter pack of training. That training happened in December. 40 athletes from all walks of life were there. And the subjects tackled in that training, we had financial literacy, we had building sustainable financial systems, we had investment options, and then, Mariam, we also had a mental health session from Safe Places. That session had athletes shed some tears. Then on the investment bit, when we went into bonds, treasury bills, unit trust, and these are guys who used to go run and $40,000. And now suddenly they can't see that money, but then they are seeing if they knew this. Kipsuro made a very good statement. He said, this hurts me. If we knew this, would be different, but then we shouldn't cry. We should now take this to the current athletes. We need to take this to clubs, to schools, so that these guys who are earning money, I'll give an example of Alan Okello. He's at Yanga. So Alan Okello gets this information with his managers. He can invest better. So this training was just a start. Now, I have good news to share here. Since then, we've been engaging with the financial institution all these months. And we've reached a stage whereby they are now willing to take over the Beyond the Finish Athlete Empowerment Program to fund it. So we are nearly there, but at least we've managed to get a 3-year program whereby every year we graduate athletes every year, and then there you have, like seedlings, but of course you also have perhaps where athletes, incubations, they have an idea and they can push it on. And then we have graduations every other year. So that's the lifeblood of the whole project. Then we also had that trip which we covered at Kainela Farms, where athletes who love farming went and did stuff live, hands-on. And they were all excited. So those 3, at least there's some of the deliverables. But most importantly, the one that's coming, that's structured, not just a one-day event. Structured, and you keep enrolling, recruiting, they get out, they become ambassadors, then you go. Then we'll be able, if that institution funds this program, even if they're not giving you hard cash, they're funding it, you move to clubs and then they go on seeing it. So for me, in terms of the empowerment and skilling of athletes and also addressing their mentors, at least heading into the 3rd edition of the Legends Marathon, that's an area I'm extremely happy with, and I hope more open up to it because we need it. Athletes need it. I think we need it.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
I think we all need it.
Yes.
Emans, you agree, don't you?
I think we all do. And I mean, I wanted to bring Mariam in by addressing, of course, some of the challenges that the athletes face. I think it is very easy to look at athletes who are probably earning from the sport. And I'm sure that you talked about KCC. It's one of the teams that pay players, at least in volleyball, and most teams do not pay at all. So it is one thing to plan for life after retirement, but what are you planning with? And I think that is where the entire maybe sports ecosystem really frustrates some sportsmen and women. That talented as you may be, you can play a sport and you've not gotten a team in some of these lesser sports that is actually assuring you of a salary at the end of the month. So you have athletes who are playing for the sake of it. And what Mariam talked about, those who are sharp enough, at least they are able to get an education from sport, and at the end of the day, you know that if I retire, at least I'm retiring with my degree, and I'll be able to go out there and find what to do. But it is also true that some will go to school, study, and continue playing sport. At the end of it, they do not know, probably don't remember what they studied even in school, because they've not gone into the work environment, and they've really used most of their time taking part in sports, and they are engaged. By the time you retire at maybe 35, where do you start from? At entry level, if you're going to get a job in these organizations, and that becomes very tricky. So I think the question is, how do you strike a balance that you have Mariam who wants to study but also play sport? The truth is that those who excel at maybe the highest level, for example, if you're an athlete playing for KCCA, fighting to win the league, and these days I'm told they are in boarding section at Lugogo, how do you strike a balance going to school and also trying to play at the topmost level, if you look at it? Because like I mentioned, someone maybe in volleyball, I think the best example to look at is Daudi Okelo, who had joined UCU, but a chance to play professional volleyball came, and he just went and excelled. He's doing well for himself, and maybe if he wants, he can go to school later on. So I think the tricky bit is how to balance. You're either going to excel and reach the level of Daudi, or you have to settle and say, I'm going to play and maybe play here in Uganda and pursue my career as a professional in the field of work. So I don't know, it must be tricky how to balance those two.
So Emanzi, it also goes back, that's why I'm saying the management. So Daudi has a manager, a serious manager, and he's accountable. Each time he makes that money, you have to come back here and account for it. What have you done? You had a whole season, you were MVP, you had all these awards, and their cash, the manager ensures that, you know, the player counts. However, and I say this a lot, most of our managers, and I think it cuts across. Okay, now sports, UOC has tried to help us, but still people come there and they just want the paper. They do not pick, they even give you a manual. And each time I go back to that manual, pick out a few things, because I want to approach certain people and see how to do it. However, we have managers, sometimes we have managers who've never managed anything in their lives. They do not even know what it means
to manage a team.
Exactly. So until, I think if we have to go, now that sport is commercialized, where people are getting paid, I want to throw a challenge to these clubs to get managers that are actually, you know, appropriate for those jobs. Because the biggest problem we have is these managers. Yeah, they'll come, blow the money with you. I see, even footballers. There are footballers I know, they would come back here, would happen, you want to go out? Then they wait for the next season. When recess is over, they go back and they have nothing. They're even borrowing for that ticket, and you're like, so some of them, I look at them, I've had a chat with a few people, a few friends, footballers, and I'm like, so first take me through. And the person, for some, they were even on that team that took the one that went to Africa Cup of Nations. And I happened to have been in the bank, and I saw the money that came in. That money was paid like a week before they left, so that they leave their families happy. Some people blew that money. They drank it. Like, they cannot give you something on paper that they did with it. But I still think managers need, and when we are training, we need to start with the managers. Yes. For many sports, they'll not allow. They think they know. I really have a problem. And sometimes I go to individuals and, yeah, I chip in. I'm like, I think you're not doing this right. Those that understand will hold back. Even if we were on the manager's page and they're throwing fire, I just sidebar. And the person actually comes down. I'm like, you know, you're embarrassing yourself. There are many young people on this page. I don't think at your age you should be saying certain things. And they've had, but how many can take it? Can you walk to a manager and tell them that? Do you know what they'll do to you? Yeah. Exactly. So, and unfortunately for commercialized sports, the parents have been left out. And that's the challenge.
Yeah, but also it's a big challenge. But now, for instance, for a sport like football, kids start becoming breadwinners in their families as young as 16, 17, 18. You're probably the last born in your family, but you're the breadwinner. The mother doesn't work, the father has no jobs, you have siblings who need help and stuff like that. So to tell a mother that a 16, a 17-year-old should pursue their education while they are balancing sports, yet at that tender age they are the breadwinner, it will be very hard for the father or the mother to listen to you, because they feel you're probably stopping them from leaving, yet this person is the person that is supposed to probably see them through this life. And it is a very, very, very huge challenge. I was told one of the biggest challenges Moses Basena faced when he had started coaching football was that, because for him, even in his mid-20s, he was staying at his parents' home. He plays for coffee, a game ends at Nachivubo, he crosses, gets into the park, goes back home. That was his life. He only left home when he signed for Vida, and Vida had those houses along NTV Road. Now he comes into coaching, and he has a 17, an 18, 19-year-old saying, manager, I need money for rent. For him, it did make sense. You're 17 or 18, you must be in school. If you're not in boarding, you're staying with your parents. What are you looking for? I mean, you're looking for money for rent, what? And it became more shocking when actually he was coaching teenagers who were fathers. Now they already have a family. And for me, it's like, at this age, I'm still staying with my parents. So it took some people to sit him down and let him understand that the world has changed. This is the current generation. This is how they do things and stuff like this. So you have people getting responsibilities at a very young age. Before you know it, school is a wastage of time. This sport is all they have to earn a living and see themselves through. And now probably that is where the issue of managers come in, where people like you, psychologists, are coming to help these people understand that yes, there's this path that you should have taken and you aren't able to take it. However, the path you are taking, this is how you can get the best out of it. But even with that, we don't have enough people in the industry doing that job because of the challenges that Mariam has listed here. Not so many people are welcoming for professionals like her to see that they help these athletes realize what they need to do and how they are supposed to do it.
Okay. That's a big one. That's a big one. And when you speak about football, It's a different ball game altogether. But Mariam, let's speak about the biggest challenges that these athletes face, especially when they've retired. What are the biggest challenges? Is it financial? Is it psychological? From those you've interacted with, at least.
So, of course, when they're financial, they're going to be psychological. But I think psychological mostly takes up the bigger part. Like I said, these athletes are not just footballers. Football is embedded within them. It's all they've known. It's who they are. So you're taking away that, they'll lose themselves. Like I said, already it will be mid-adulthood, 25, 30, it's mid-adulthood. Yeah? So you look at your friends, in case you did not use your time wisely. When you go back and look at your friends, the people that you were in school with, even if you dropped out, you feel left out. People have moved. They have family, they have jobs, they're well structured. Life is moving well. So you used to take them out, now you cannot. That's already eating into you. And that is how they start to isolate themselves. That's why they get into depression, they start to drink, because the only time people will take you out is for a drink. But they'll not solve your problems back home. So you just go and drink yourself dead, they'll even drop you home and pick you up the next day. Man, wake up and we go. We are meeting this evening. That's all they do. They're very good at that. And where do you end up? In rehab, they are the ones collecting the money for rehab. They are not collecting the one to solve your problems. But they give you the alcohol and will wait to collect the money for rehab, instead of trying to see how do we help this person. Yes, and that's the biggest challenge. So, but also, the friendships that we build, I keep telling these people, I don't regret. I've gone through what I have gone through, I have achieved what I have achieved because of volleyball. For me, it's the social network. And now I have taken it beyond volleyball to every other sport. You'll find me at a FUFA event, at a rugby event.
I was shocked to see you.
I am everywhere. I am everywhere. Because my mind has opened up. I realize, you know what, it's not just about volleyball. Probably when you go and see how it's done elsewhere, then you're able to borrow a leaf and come and maybe change something in volleyball. And that is what we need to do. And also, social media is what is killing these athletes. Yeah? There's an athletes conference we had by UOC, and John Barnes was there. And he was telling, there's an athlete, a basketballer who had posted something on their handle. And Barnes was telling him, I don't think this is yours to fight. I think you need to be growing your brand. Yeah, and at the FUFA event, I was telling Zaina and Andede, I was telling her, what are you posting? Who is following you? That should be your concern. You shouldn't be posting things about FUFA, about, you know. We need, because each time you post such things, the moment you step out, there's a way, those stories don't hide. People keep bringing them back.
Yeah, true.
And that hits you.
We have one on set here.
It hits you terribly. So social media is also killing athletes. People, you don't know where you are. Someone finds you in a kafunda, they're taking a picture. Before you know it, you're on someone's handle. Man, see this guy. He used to.
He was the one
What do you expect
the
of
other
that
day.
athlete? What do you expect? They will not come out. They'll go back into that dark corner, and we may never hear about them until they are hospitalized somewhere and losing it all. So I think that, one, social media is key. What you post, what you do, because there's some people who can ride on their social media accounts and pick up something after that. I keep telling people, watch what you post. There are people who now follow me. Now I'm even into Rotary. Now when I post Rotary, so people are confused. They're like, where are you? Are you here? Are you there? I'm like, I am everywhere. But I also went into Rotary. For something else, I had been waiting. For me, I thought Rotary was a social club until I found a cause-based club, and I went into Rotary. Because at my age, what am I looking for? I tell people self-actualization does not come at 60. It can come at 35, depending on how you've lived your life. Yeah? And mine could be coming on the 4th floor because I want to see change. I want to look at somebody going through something, changing them, or not even getting into that bad state. Yes.
Okay.
Just to supplement on Mariam saying she's everywhere and trying to connect and all, me, I want to transition now into the event on Sunday, the Legends Marathon. That's the only event where you'll find a Mariam, a Kipsiro, a Flavia Okecho, a Davis Karashani, a Zebra Senyange. So in terms of growing social networks, then couple that with the running community, and then the other people that are coming through, you know, partners and all. So it's the event where a fan meets their star, a lost athlete meets their former athletes, and also where different sports come together. I was shocked. You remember Clive? Philip Obuin and Victor Wadia, football, rugby. Victor Wadia and some other ruggers, Alex Muvirus, they were narrating how they are fans of Philip Obuin was next to them, and they would just listen on radio commentary.
Wow. But they had never
met. Yeah?
Dennis Onyango, a fan of Kipsiro, and Kipsiro, a fan of Onyango, had never met, but at Legends, they connected. So we live in a culture where you only know those who play your sports.
Yes.
Yet in developed cultures, people watch each other's sports.
Yes.
Footballers will come and catch your volleyball, you know, all that stuff. So in terms of social network, and also getting those athletes who retired from the loneliness, come and connect again. And then the conversation starts there. And then you have families who are not connected to sports, but they are coming to run as well. So on Sunday, those are the images from last edition where you have mothers, fathers, name it. So it's more of getting together, and our theme this year, Run for Your Legend, was deliberate. It means don't run for just Kipsiro or Kiprotich. That legend could be Mariam, could be Mam Mole, is it? Auntie Jolie, something like that. Auntie Jolie, yes. Could be Emanzi's daughter, could be Clive's,
Mom.
perhaps, oh yes,
Wife.
Mom. So on the bib, on the race bibs, we've left space where you actually rate your legend or your hero, the one you're going to run for. I have a friend, a lady who has 3 gentlemen who are very important in her life, and she's running for them. So it hits home. So you're not running because you're legends or athletes or sports. So you run for that person who matters to you, but also the cause of looking back. Are you preparing your life? It's not just another, the message is wide. It's clear, and I know on this set, it hits us straight. Because if the NMG paycheck stops, are we ready?
And Andrew, exactly at that point, and I've been warned that we have a break coming up.
Yes.
But that's why I want to ask a question that I think I've asked before. And I'm going to ask again now that he spoke about us here on this set.
Not to guilt trip me.
Mariam and Andrew, we're speaking about preparing athletes for life after active sport. Someone is watching and they're thinking, I'm earning a salary of 500,000 Uganda shillings, right?
Which is very low.
Why should they? And athletes, some athletes are earning 10 million Uganda shillings.
Okay.
And they're looking at you and thinking, why should I, or why should we as a country really care about someone and their life after who is earning 10 ma and I'm earning 500,000 Uganda shillings?
So I'll take it first. I'll go
Yes,
first.
Okay.
So life is very unpredictable.
Yeah.
Very unpredictable, and that's what we have to know. The religion that I subscribe to tells us to live like we are dying tomorrow, but to also work like we are going to stay in this world forever. That is what it tells us. So sometimes when you're feeling, I shouldn't wake up, then you think about the other part. Yeah? And then other times when you think you want to throw all that money in the savings box, you're like, what if I'm going tomorrow? You take yourself out. So either way. So you have to strike a balance. Yeah? Anything can happen. In our country, there are not so many clubs that do what President Mulindwa did for Alan. Pick you from an injury, keep you until you're fine and get you on court. Tell me which club can do that.
Others terminate your contracts.
That's what majority
If you have a contract, they terminate it.
But for many, they don't even have contracts.
Yeah.
Maybe football, but other games people don't have contracts.
Even in football,
You
they're
get an
breaking up.
injury, you sign out.
Yeah.
The 10 million stops there. But it is going to the treatment. You're probably going for a surgery. Some of these young boys, like Clive said, are fathers already. You understand? So we need to prepare for the unexpected. And that is why you need to try. Of that 10 million, even if you get 100,000, you never know what it is going to do for you tomorrow.
Yeah, but also for me, just to also supplement on your point, but also answer Augustine's question. It's a wake-up call for all of us, not only athletes. Andrew might have used the route of athletes because he's a sports journalist, but also because they are the stories that we get to hear about the most. There are success stories, but also there are stories after their tenure is done. But also when you look outside that, that's why for me I feel also as a community, as sports journalists, this is something that we should have embraced. Because we are in the same boat as these athletes. The only difference is that majority of them are earning more than us. But also, if our careers end, I mean, 30 years from now, we won't be fit for this show. Other people who will be here. There are people who are doing sports, or even there are people who grew up watching, who are no longer on TV, who are no longer on radio, who are no longer writing. Those who are still alive, their life is not that pleasant. So you don't have to be an athlete, you don't have to be a journalist. Anybody who is watching us is actually in the same situation as majority of these athletes. So such initiatives are supposed to be a wake-up call for all of us, whether you're earning 10 million, whether you're earning 500,000, whether you're earning what are you doing for your life when that job is no more? I mean, what are you doing in your life when you've retired, when the company has closed, when they have laid you off and stuff like that? We need to start to plan for our lives after we've moved on. It shouldn't be only be about athletes, but all of us.
Okay, Andrew, I'll give you a minute to wrap it up.
Just a final call. The marathon is on Sunday. Starting at 6 a.m., 42 kilometers, then all the way up to around 7, so 21, 10, and 5.
Where?
Chambogo University Cricket Oval. People asking me, where's the cricket oval? If you've picked a raving permit or a license, First Technologies, so that pitch right across, next to the one they are building,
next to the training ground.
Yes. So that's it. As long as you run and finish, you will get a very beautiful medal. They're already in the country, and and then the route maps are going to be on the website shortly, and registration is 50,000 Uganda shillings, thelegendsmarathon.com. You'll sort it right there. Now, Gistin, today, this afternoon, I had 3 phone calls.
I was about to ask.
I was on the phone with Moses Kipsiro, 3-time Commonwealth champion and 2-time African champion. I was on phone with Jackson Kiprop. I was on phone with Stephen Kiprotich, London 2012 champion, Olympics, and 2013 world champion. For each, I spent no less than 30 minutes. And when did you last see, let alone hear, Stephen Kiprotich, the man who made us happy in 2012, winning the first gold medal since John Akibua in 1972. I invite you to come to Chambogo Cricket Oval on Sunday. You could see, you could meet, you could greet, you could get an autograph from Stephen Kiprotich.
Thank you, Andrew. Mariam, thank you very much for making the time. It's never easy to be. What time is it? Goodness me, it's about what, 23 minutes to midnight. We do appreciate your company.
We must thank for allowing you to be out this.
I bet she's bought her ticket for Ladies Better. She hasn't told you.
Really? Emma's, you're doing 42?
Yeah, right.
don't have to respond. It's okay.
Maybe this, you know, so
No, and Clive, the break. Sharon is in my ear. Sharon is in my ear. So we're going to take a break. Do we have back in time, though? Karim, do we have back in time? So we can do back in time and then take the break. Yes, we do have back in time. So let's have it.